Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the number one most valuable real estate community in existence. Today we got on a very special guest coming with the team Reverse Flip, Willy Numbers, coming to join us.
What's up? How you doing?
How are you doing?
How's it going, guys? What's going on? I don't know if I'm looking at the side or straight ahead, but I'm looking. I'm here. We're ready.
We got you, man. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to preface this while we're getting a bunch of people in. I know that this is going to be a huge event. A lot of people are going to be joining us in tonight's live. Willy has done some incredible deals as of recent, and throughout his entire career, he has completely revolutionized the game, and he has created his own strategy, reverse flipping, which we are going to learn about tonight. We've already got a bunch of support from everybody that's in the community with the fire emojis. Love you guys. Let's get it going. Please invite somebody you think would benefit from being in proximity with us on tonight's stream. Mr. Numbers, how are you doing today, sir?
Doing great, man. Well, first of all, I appreciate you guys having me here. I love all the energy and the love. I appreciate it. I love doing this, man. So I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're excited to have you. Willy, tell us a little bit about who you are, how you got into real estate, and how you came about reverse flipping.
Yeah, so quick and dirty. I got started in wholesale 2017. Seems like forever ago. Pre-COVID, prices were still within the norm, right? South Florida, Miami specifically. I was a Merrill Lynch guy. I got fired from that. I cold called off a podcast, and I told the guy on the phone, I was like, look, I don't know how to do this business, but if you teach me how to do this, I'll split my first 5 deals with you 50-50, and I'll put up the money for marketing. And we went on to do 5 deals in the first 91 days, and traditional wholesale. Fast forward around 2019, I was already starting to scale just a little bit. I was 2 years in the game, still had a lot to learn, but I came across this property that everybody on here, I assume there's a lot of wholesalers, right? Everybody on here would deem as a dead lead or a dead deal, right? Stuff that was riddled with debt. It had a bankruptcy. It had 2 mortgages. It had $300,000 worth of liens. It actually had a prostitute living inside of it. No kidding, right? Like waters. The lady was stealing power from the power lights. I mean, it was like everything that was bad that you could not wholesale, you couldn't flip it, you couldn't do anything. And it kind of irked me. And I had a mentor at the time, and I asked him, I was like, dude, who buys this shit? Like, somebody's got to buy it, right? Like the properties don't just sit here forever, right? And he said, well, there's 2 ways. It either goes to auction eventually, or you could just get the deed and then solve the problems on the back end. And I was like, wow, that's interesting. I never even knew what a deed was at that time. So I said, what do you pay for it? And he's like, whatever you want. I mean, it's a problem, so whatever you want. And I called the seller, drove all the way to Naples, and I told him, I was like, I'll give you $3,000 for the deed to this property. And he was like, all right. And we did. Filed the quiet title with my attorney. Long story short, we made 111 grand off of that in Miami. My biggest deal ever at that time, was like a $25,000 wholesale. I'm spanking out 111 grand now. Light bulb goes off, and I'm like, wow, like, I got to do this again. Like, this cannot, this is so much better, in my opinion, than just all the competition of wholesaling, right? And keep in mind, this is 2019. So by 2021, we had scaled out. We were doing about $8 million a year in assignment fees, big wholesale operation. We were top 3 in the East Coast for sure. I would say at the time, number 1 in South Florida, second only to Property Force, which was in multi-states, and we weren't. We were only doing the Tri-County market. And I kept buying deeds, right? Kept buying deeds. And then 2022, I bought out my partner. 2023, restructured. 2024, started coaching in 2023, actually. And then I just started teaching guys in my private community how to do this. And then they went on to make millions, right? Through the deeds. And I was like, all right, well, now I could teach it. And then we just kind of scaled up from there, man. And then we started the school community in September of last year. I'm a big collaboration guy, right? I always believe professionals, collaborate, amateurs compete. That's a big thing for me. I'd rather have 30% of a watermelon than 100% of a grape. That's just my philosophy to life. And that's worked out well for me. And now we're here.
I love it, man, and I'm excited to see you grow. I seen you and Juan, start the community on school, and to see where it's grown to in such a short amount of time is incredible. But beyond that, just the amount of value that you have provided, and the way that you've changed so many people's lives. This is clearly something that nobody else is talking about, especially like this. So I really want to dive into how you're going about structuring these types of deals and how you even buy deeds from people. You know, what types of deeds? Are they warranty deeds? Are they quick clean deeds? What types of deeds? Get the 411 on all of this and share with the world, you know, the secrets of reverse flipping. So I'm excited. Ladies and gentlemen, let's drop some fire in the chat for Mr. Numbers. Invite somebody you think would benefit. Guys, send them that link. They need to be on this live right now. This is the most important thing you can be doing on a Thursday at 6 p.m. Nothing else can top this.
There's nothing better that you guys could be doing right now, because I'm going to show you guys how to make a lot of millions of dollars. I mean, I'm a no bullshit kind of guy. I'm very blunt about it. I don't want to waste your time. I certainly don't want to waste his. So the reality is, man, I've scaled up to I would say, humbly, the highest levels of the wholesale world per se. I've been in the best masterminds. I've earned that. I'm grateful for that. But and wholesaling is great. I don't want anybody to take away from, oh man, is he bashing on? Listen, dude, I've done it for 8 years. I mean, it gave me everything I have. I'm just saying there's a better way. That's all I'm saying, right? Like, Pace has his way of doing things, right? He doesn't think wholesaling's bad, but he understands, hey, my strategy does this, right? And this strategy really came out of necessity. Like, the reality was, you run into enough deals at the time where you can't figure it out. And I'm talking to all the wholesalers out there, where they're dead deals. They're just like, man, what do I do? Property's underwater. Property's fire damage. Well, it has a bankruptcy. Well, it's got all these liens. Well, it needs a probate. It needs a partition. Well, it needs a probate and a partition. It's tax delinquent. It's got an IRS lien. It's got a Department of Judgment lien, right? Or Department of Justice lien. Dude, I'm that guy. I figure those out. And there's a lot of money to be made off of dead leads. And for far too long, I feel like the entire real estate community has just been, not addressing it. I spoke at one of the biggest masterminds in the country, presented what we were doing, right? Like, to all my buddies, and they were all like, this is fucking crazy, and I'm like, but you guys aren't doing this, right? And they're like, no, we don't even chase these leads. I'm like, I know because we're the only ones getting them, right? So talk about, at a certain point in your career, when you've made enough money, it's not about the money. It's about working smarter, not harder, right? Do your wholesales. There's nothing wrong with that. Continue to do your wholesales. But I promise you, there's a certain segment of your CRM right now that's dead, and you're not doing anything with it. And I'm not here saying every single dead lead is worth chasing. By no means. There's a method. There's a process. There's certainly, a whole system to this. But I'm just telling you, you're sitting on a lot of money. And every one of your competitors in your space isn't doing this shit. Because they're doing the same thing, because they've been taught the same way. It's like, oh, if it's dead, just keep it moving. Oh, you can't do that with an IRS lien. Oh, you can't take care of a bankruptcy. Oh, what do you mean? The property's underwater. There's nothing to do. At best, they might be pitching a sub 2. But even then, dude, like, we do things that the sub 2 strategy can't do, because some of the deals need different kind of attention.
Absolutely. And I'd love to break down the types of deals, that make the most sense for reverse flipping, so that people can adjust, what they're looking for in real time and know, okay, this has the potential to be a reverse flip. So let's talk about some of those characteristics. Like, are they probates? Are they tax delinquent? What types of situations do these properties fall under where they're underwater? And then let's also talk about some of the situations that maybe reverse flipping wouldn't make sense or cannot be the solution.
I mean, I don't think I'll start from the end and then work towards the beginning. I don't think that there's ever a situation where buying a deed from a seller is ever a bad thing. Number one. The only thing I would say is, for example, if you're going to do a probate, you're not going to record that deed. Why? Because the heir is not currently the owner, legally speaking, right? So that's just like one little caveat, and there's tons of them. A reverse flip, man, is a lead or a deal that you cannot wholesale, you can't novate, and you ran into a dead end. You're like, dude, I don't know what to do with this thing. That's probably the first major indicator or a red flag where you're like, okay, I got to look at this through a different lens. And by the way, it doesn't always have to be underwater. It doesn't have to be negative equity. I mean, shit, I'll talk to you about a deal that I just did myself the day before yesterday, which I posted. It's a $15 million development deal. Bought the deed, same exact strategy. I'm making $4 million off of it, right? When the development is done 20 months from now. Bought the deed for $0. That was on an auction list. It was the same seller, same conversation, same documents. It took 8 hours to do. Voila, 4 million bucks. Now, of course, I don't want anybody to get lost here. There's a lot of experience that goes into that, but it was the same conversation. You're going to auction, you got no equity, I got to stop your sale. I'll give you $0 for the deed. You got to work with me. I'm going to tie in the seller to the back end, sign these 3 documents. Bye-bye. Call the lender, stop the sale, end of story. None of my own money, right? Except that the payout is a lot bigger, right? So in terms of deeds, of course, I assume that a lot of people here are in different markets. I assume that they're in different states probably, right? Every state is a little bit different, but a quick claim deed is usually the type of deed that you're going to use. We show you this all in our community and in our school community. You also, like in Texas, for example, Texas is a state that doesn't really recognize quick claim deeds. So you're going to want a special warranty deed. Great. New Jersey, for another example. We like to do our ownership. We like to take title in land trust. New Jersey does not recognize land trust. So you're going to want to do it in an LLC, right? Little nuances like that. But make no mistake about it. Any seller can transfer any piece of real estate anytime, anywhere via a deed to you with a mortgage or without a mortgage on it for $1. That's all you need in terms of consideration. So don't let these gurus and don't let all these guys confuse you. Oh, but what about a contract? Oh, but what about that? Dude, you don't need a contract. You can just get the deed. And the major difference between a deed, for those of you that might not know, a deed and a contract is a promise to perform on something. That's all it is. And it gives you equitable interest, which is the same thing as saying shit. It doesn't give you any ownership. Now, a deed gives you an ownership because it's a recordable instrument. A deed transfers title from, let's say, John Smith to Will Dennis. That's all it does. And the deed is the highest form of protection that you can have. Let me know if this sounds familiar to any of you wholesalers. You get a property under contract, seller talks to somebody else, signs another contract with somebody else at a higher price. Now you got a problem. Now you're going to have to sue them for specific performance, right? Your competition backdoored you. Happens all the time. I'm from Miami, dude. It's a sunny place full of shady characters. It happens all the time, right? Well, when you have a deed, there's no one else to talk to. I record my deed. I'm now the owner. There is no circumvention. There's also no inspection period, okay? There's also no rush for time unless it's going to auction or something like that, because now I've stopped. Think about just taking a time out and I've stopped time because now I own the property. You can also list them on the MLS because you don't have to worry about, oh, does my contract say it? Does the MLS allow it? Does the state allow me to do it? Is it illegal to wholesale it? It's not, because you're the owner. You are in the driver's seat. So it is the highest form of controlling an asset that you can have, for sure.
That is fantastic. So let's break that down a little bit. Tell us why somebody would want to sign away their deed.
I mean, the same reason that they would want to sign their property away via a contract. That's the easiest answer, right? And it's a good question because I know it's kind of a mental shift. Like, damn, dude, why would somebody want to sell their property and sign it away for nothing? Well, the short answer is they got no other option. Their options are either auction, like a sale, or bankruptcy. It's usually the end of the line for both sellers. The beautiful thing about this, guys, too, is that everyone in your marketplace that has been traditionally wholesaling, which is great, is no longer marketing to these people because they don't pop up on lists. Nobody pulls lists of, hey, let me get the hairiest fucked up shit. Nobody pulls lists like that, right? They usually pull 30% equity. Oh, I need this, I need that, I want it clean. So this is your people that have nowhere else to go. So from a moral perspective, dude, help the people because no one else is going to help them. Of course, from a business perspective, structure the best deal you can, right? And that's the beauty of this. This is it's so flexible. Like I can give a seller $1,000, $500, $0 on the front end, 10 grand on the front end, 5 grand on the back end, 20 grand on the back end if the deal is good enough, 0 grand on the back end. I mean, there's so many different ways to do it, right? And again, we teach this, but it's so much smoother. And the crazy thing is, what most people learn when they come into the community is, and to have that conversation that they're like, damn, I can't believe that just happened. And I'm like, dude, because you're talking to the right person. That seller truly is a motivated seller. and I see a comment here. It sounds like an installment sale. It's not an installment sale, but it has some similarities for sure.
Okay, so I want to ask you a little bit more about this process with the deed, right? Let's say that you get the deed. Does that now put you exactly where that seller is? Does that put you in their shoes? Now you're responsible, for the debt on the property and all that.
Nope. No, sir. No. So again, great question. Very two different things. So on my right hand, you have a ownership. On my left hand, you have debt. You can, I want everybody to understand this and listen up very closely. You can own something and not be responsible for the debt. I'll say that again. You can own something, aka a deed, and not be responsible for the debt. Happens all the time. Banks do it to you guys and do it to me all the time. What do? You walk into Bank of America, you go get a mortgage for your house, 123 Main Street. What do you think that bank does? Before you left the office, they go bloop and they sell it to Chase Morgan. That's what they do. And they say, yo, I'm selling. They literally do assignments just like wholesales of your notes. They do it all the time. There's no different.
Okay, so let's talk about situations now where you have the deed from the property owner, right? But their property is so underwater, right? It has way too much debt on the property for it to make sense to maybe immediately sell. How is it that you are mitigating, whatever debt they own? Because I know that there is a loss mitigation team, that works with reverse flip. Walk us through that process and tell us what that really means, because everybody that's heard about this is probably where I'm at right now, where they don't understand exactly what this means, right? They understand, okay, I understand now that we can go get a deed and we can own something that we're not responsible for the debt on, but the debt still exists, right? And it's still attached to the property. Even though we're not the one that may be liable, to pay it, that property is still attached to it. So how is it that you guys are reviving these deals that are seemingly underwater?
Yeah. So again, awesome question. This is assuming that you're going after properties that are underwater. Okay. We do tons of deals. Actually, the bulk of our deals have equity in them. Why they're going to sell for the discount, which is probably going to be your next question, because they have serious legal issues, liens, violations, right? Ticky-tacky shit that the average wholesaler, with all due respect, is not equipped, has not been trained to learn how to do, right? But going back to your question of, hey, there's a deed, you got the property, great, this thing's underwater. Well, the first thing, okay, that I would highly advise you is, and again, we teach all this in the community. This is not, not one size fits all, right? Every market's a little different, but the principle is the same. Look for properties, if they are underwater, that are in terrible physical condition. Why? Because you will likely need a short sale, which we work with the best loss mitigation team in the country, and we partner with them. A short sale goes based off of, the short sale lender goes based off of the as-is value of that asset. Don't worry about the debt. The debt could be $500,000, but the as-is condition could be $200,000. Guess what? They're going to short off the $200,000, not the $500,000. The lender can give a shit less about the debt. They care about what's the physical condition today and how much work would we have to do in order to renovate it and fix it. And if we know anything, banks are not in the business of fixing houses. They hate it. They're in the business of loaning money. So they want to get it out. By the way, a bank will always look at a short sale as a win because they don't have to go through foreclosure court. They don't have to spend all the money. They don't have to get the attorneys. They don't have to go to auction. They don't have to track the goddamn property. They don't have to put protect it against squatters. They don't have to securitize it. They don't have to winterize it. They don't have to do any of that, right? They don't have to keep paying taxes. They don't have to keep paying insurance. You see what I'm saying here, guys? So we are doing them a favor, and they actually look very favorable at short sales, as long as you do everything legit, obviously.
So that's going to be my next question, because we have seen, some pushback. There have been, a couple influencers recently that have gotten into some legal trouble, with short selling and that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's an easy one, dude.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about, where they went wrong. Yeah, and how is it that you guys are maintaining, compliance and not breaking any laws, and how does it, differ between the two?
Yeah, so look, I'm gonna just be very direct on this one. I know, fairly well, Nicole, short sale queen, right? Somebody mentioned it there. I have no issue with her. First of all, I'm not involved in that case, so I don't know all the intricacies. I only read what I read, right? Just like everybody else. With that being said, there was some lines that were crossed, right? And there's just simple compliance stuff. For example, we never, ever, 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 ever put a straw buyer in place. Ever. What that means is, hey, we listed the property on the MLS. It was open auction, right? Auction style. Everybody could bid on that property. And whoever was the highest offer, that's what gets submitted to the bank. Even if we're not. Sometimes it doesn't work to create the split, right? Now, in those cases, we might do a buyer premium. But again, don't submit fake power, power of attorneys, or don't submit fake proof of funds, right? Things like that. I mean, this is basic stuff, right? Our guys are super CFPB compliant. Two of them used to work for the Fannie Mae and HUD, so they know the laws better than anybody. I've come too far in my career, honestly. I've had a lot of temptation around me to skirt the line or this or that. Dude, I don't need that shit in my life. I don't look good in orange. I can tell you that right now. I'm not looking to look good in orange. Orange is not the new black for me, so I'm good. I'm chilling. There's so many deals to do the right way. So, yeah, just have common sense, man, and work with a good team. That's really what you got to do.
Okay.
Integrity is key, 100%. Whoever said that, integrity is key. You don't get to doing 800 deals like I've done in my career now, coming up on 900, if I was an asshole or if I was a fraud. There's just no way around it, right? And I'm extremely loud with a big ass beard online. It just is what it is at this point, Like I have no shame in it.
And we absolutely appreciate you for coming and sharing all of this, guys, with us. If this is your first time in REI Rev, you've got to pay attention. We are bringing on Mr. Willy Numbers right now. Ladies and gentlemen, drop some fire in the chat for Mr. Numbers coming to join us. We want to make sure that everybody is active, engaged, paying attention. We're going to go through all of the questions at some point later in the live. We got a lot of people. They're excited to see you, man. We've got over 70 people joining us. Absolutely.
I love Q&A, man. I love Q&A.
It's perfect for us because I feel like this is really bringing a lot of clarity. So I want to dive a little bit more into the short sales, right? Because for the deals that are underwater, right? This was one of the things that kind of opened my eyes to reverse flipping and caught my attention. It's like, okay, well, how is it that they're going to do like a short sale, but they're still going to maintain ownership of the property? How does that work?
Yeah. So what's the question? I'm sorry.
So like for the property to be underwater, right? How does this loss mitigation team work on a deal like that? I mean, are they trying to do a short sale? Do you end up buying it from yourself? Like what does that process look like?
No, so it's very simple. Look, the reason why we get the deed in advance is so that we don't get circumvented by anybody. Okay? That period, point blank, and we have control. Does not mean that we record that deed right away. Like I said from before, right? The probate situation, if it's from an heir, you legally cannot record that deed anyway, right? Don't let anybody tell you different. Unless it's a homestead property, it's a little bit different, but that's only Florida. Anyway, besides that, as soon as we get the deed and the POA, we also get a limited power of attorney. Why would you get that, Will? Well, it's very simple. You might need 20-something documents signed by the seller. Good luck running back and forth with 20-something documents. So get a POA up front. You can sign on their behalf for the short sale process. Again, this is only the short sales. The next thing that we get, and we get all this up front, by the way, next thing we get is a TPA, which is a third-party authorization form. That's a one-page document. That document allows our team to now negotiate on behalf of the seller with the banks, with the loss mitigation firms, and now that starts the appraisal process. That starts the whole short sale process, which it is a process. But again, I want to bring special emphasis on let's not get focused on just short sales, because short sales are about 10 to maybe 20% of what we do. The rest of this stuff is equity driven.
Okay, so let's break that down. Let's move away from the short sales. Let's go into, deals that have meat on the bone. These people are in all sorts of situations. For whatever reason, they elect to sell with you. Let's talk about that one that you just closed. The one that was a big deal that you've been talking about on your Instagram. You paid the guy $3,000 for the deed. All right, now you have ownership of the property, correct? And correct me if I'm wrong at any point.
Which one was this one? I'm sorry.
So you paid $3,000 for the deed, and then you're going to flip it to make what, $118,000?
The one, the vacant land.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a great one. So, very simple. Bought the deed for $3,000, $1,500 up front, $1,500 on the back end. All right. So, I mean, come on. That's lower than your cost of contract in wholesaling. The average cost per contract is about 5K right now nationwide. If it's not, trust me, you're not tracking your numbers the right way. That's what it costs to get a contract in the nation right now. So $3,000. It had a fraudulent probate. We redid the probate, which cost another $3,000. My attorney charges it on the back end. We did the probate. It had a loan from Wells Fargo of $112,000. The property already had 80 grand because it's vacant land, so it's worth about 200. So right then and there, you can make 80 grand. Okay, but why make 80 grand when you can make a lot more? So we went to Wells Fargo. Simple conversation. Hey, this loan has been sitting. Keep in mind, this is a 20-year mortgage that they left in foreclosure for 20 years. You think that they would be happy taking anything? Yes, they took 12 grand. So $120,000 mortgage went down to 12. Peanuts. Okay? And we ended up listing it on the MLS. We got multiple buyers at 185, 190, and 200. So again, now let's do the math. 3K for the deed, 3K for the probate, some liens, some violations from the city, right? Overgrown grass. They had torn down a structure that was there. And of course, the bank. We're all into this deal up front. We are all into this deal for $1,500. That's what we bought the deal for, and we controlled it. No contract. That's just a straight deed. On the back end, we're gonna pay somewhere around 60, and we just sold it for 200. Now, in this particular case, I'm actually gonna build on it because it's zoned for a duplex in Fort Lauderdale. So now I'm gonna go build a duplex. My land basis is 40% of what the land is worth because I'm paying like 60, right? And the duplex is gonna appraise at 750. And I'm going to rip out all my money, cash out, refi. But again, if you just wanted to flip it, and if you don't want to build or whatever, maybe you're just starting out, you would have made like 140 on that deal. No questions asked. And the JV actually on the deal is making close to 70. I'm buying out as 50%.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Ladies
That
and gentlemen.
lead, by the way, like you guys are, next question that's probably going to come, hey, dude, what kind of lead was that? How did I market to that lead? Well, you want to know where that lead was sitting? In his dead inventory in his pipeline for a year and a half. Nobody could do it. Done. It's end the story, man. These leads are already in your pipeline. You guys are already coming across them. It's just, again, nobody's giving you the look to a nail, to a hammer. Everything looks like a nail. Everything looks like a nail. And I made that mistake in my career. Okay, I was a wholesaler. I was like, oh, cash offer, cash offer, cash offer. I was the hammer until I learned, hey, novations. Hey, I could buy a deed. Hey, maybe I could build on it, right? And that comes with time. But guys, you got to open up your minds and you got to open up your eyes to like, hey, dude, okay, there's a lot of different ways. You could do a sub two, right? You could do a reverse flip. There's a lot of different strategies out there. But again, I think one of the biggest problems with the wholesale space is that everyone's always trying to square peg a round hole, right? Everyone's trying to force a deal into being a cash offer deal. Everyone's trying to force a novation to be a novation. Maybe the deal doesn't want to be a novation. Maybe the deal wants to be a sub two, right? But you're forcing this deal into something because, again, that's all you know. That's the only lens that you know how to look at this thing at. Open up your horizons, man, because there's so much money and opportunity. Not to mention, every single deal that my community or I come across or my team, no competition. No one's there. No one's talking to these sellers because everybody runs away. Everybody runs away.
So what do you do with the sellers, that are asking for too much at the end of the day regardless? I mean, how do you help those people?
Not my seller. Very simple. Done. End of story. Next question. The biggest mindset things that I would give to anybody that's aspiring to build X amount of company or whatever, learn your avatar and stick to it. I do not chase people. Just like Biggie Small said, I don't chase them, I replace them. 100%. I just replace them with a different seller. 1,000%. That is not my seller. And again, define too much, right? Maybe a seller says, hey, I want 30 grand for the deed. No problem. I'll give you 5 on the front end, 3 on the front end, and the rest on the back end if I see the play. And I make it contingent on me being successful. But what's my risk? My risk is 3 grand, not 30.
This is fantastic. So let's talk about some things. You were talking about, the average wholesaler, they don't see through this lens. Let's talk about some things that each and every single one of us, there are over 79 people joining us right now, can immediately implement in their business after this call.
I mean, it's simple. Definitely. I mean, where do we want to send them? Do we want to send them to the ebook? Do we want to send them to? Oh, you're great. So he has a link already for it. I mean, we put out so much content on that, but the easiest way, man, is go through your debt inventory. If you have a CRM, go through your debt inventory. Obviously, a lot of people's light bulbs are probably going off right now because this happens every single time I speak in front of a large group of people. They're like, "Oh shit." Remember that? I just remembered that seller that we couldn't close that deal because of XYZ. That's usually where it starts, right? Go through your inventory, go through your dead leads, your canceled deals, that kind of stuff. Maybe you spoke to another wholesaler and said, dude, I had a deal blow up in my face because XYZ. Go talk to that guy, right? Hey, maybe we can JV on that, right? Just look for opportunities like that. Secondly, if you want to go and market, I mean, again, any form of marketing works. I would say this is a speed game. I'm more of a speed kind of game guy. So cold calling works amazingly. Door knocking works amazingly. You know, we have the RF Deal Finder app as well, which has data. It has all this stuff we teach out of there. It's like a full built product. You could pull lists. It has skip trade. I mean, it has all this stuff. It's not to sell it, but you know, it is what it is. So there's so many different ways to get started. But the easiest way would be, hey, here's the properties that I already have that I couldn't close or I couldn't work, for sure. Reverse mortgages are great if you are going to do the short sales. Reverse mortgages are great. Reverse mortgages are awesome for short sales. They're the best types of mortgages to short. But again, make sure that the condition is really messed up because you're going to get a bigger discount.
So tell us why you like the reverse mortgages.
Well, number one, you don't have to list them by law to have them on the MLS. Number two, they give a nice discount and they're very fast to work with, right? Now they only give 95% of the appraised value. However, think about it logically, right? Who is your seller in a reverse mortgage? Typically an older individual, right? And the property's probably dated. The property's probably in disrepair. The gentleman or the miss probably passed away, right? So now it needs a probate. So there's another layer of complexity, right? So now there's heirs, which are unemotionally attached to the property, which means a big discount, right? They're probably out of state. They're probably out of town. So that's why I like reverse mortgages.
Okay. I want to pivot a little bit, man, because I've been watching your Instagram. If you guys haven't followed Willy, go follow his Instagram. It's at Willy Numbers, correct?
Yeah, at Willy Numbers. Yeah,
at Willy Numbers. Mm-hmm. So today you were talking about relationship capital. You were breaking down, how you had your relationship with the lender, how you built the relationship and rapport with the seller, all these different things. Talk to us about how you go about building that relationship capital and how it's important to you in your business.
Do what you say you're going to do every single time without exception and add value first. Never ask for something right out of the gate. Don't ever, 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 ever pick someone's brain. Please, for the love of God, pick your nose. Do not pick their brain. That is one of the worst expressions you can tell to a guy like me or to anybody that you want to seek something from, right? We hear that stuff all the time, like, hey, can I buy you a cup of coffee? Can I do this? Dude, you're interrupting my day. Like, why don't you bring me a deal? I'd pay more attention. You understand what I'm saying? Or join the community. So I think and again, I used to do this all the time, right? Like, I've always built relationships and I've always built value with a long-term vision of, hey, I don't want to do one deal. Like everybody on this call, right? Let's just say, for example, I don't know anyone on this call other than you, for the record. I would love to do 100 deals with every single one of these people. I'm not looking to do one deal with them. I'm not looking to bring them into my community for a month or collaborate with each other. I'm not. I'm here for a long term, right? I'm here for a long time. You know what I mean? And adding value first is extremely important. Extremely important. Hormozy talks about that stuff all the time. You give some more, and then you can ask. Who do I know there? It says, nah, you know me. I don't know who that is, but at Willy Numbers. I can't see her face, but.
So for the people that want to give, right, that want to build those relationships, let's talk about the types of things you can give. Obviously, you could give a deal, you could give a lead, but maybe to the people that are not specifically in real estate, let's think about some things that you can give to these people for them to want to pay attention and want to work with you.
It's very simple, man. Like again, whatever vertical you're in, whatever your business you're in or whatever. But look at the way I could speak to the way I did it. Right, the way I did it was I cold called my first mentor ever. I cold called a guy, then was on a podcast. I called his office. His secretary answered the phone. I lied to her. I said, "Hey, we went to high school together. I lost his number." It's the best thing I could come up with. She said, "Okay." She transferred the call, and I said, "Hey, please don't hang up the phone. I don't know you. You don't know me. Teach me this business. I'll pay for all the marketing, and I'll split my first 5 deals with you 50-50. Tell me what that guy had to lose at that point. Nothing. I didn't say, "Hey, bro, I heard your podcast. Dude, I'd love to take you out for a cup of coffee and like just prick your brain for a sec." Dude, that guy would have hung up the phone on me, no question, right? Because I'm just take. Instead, I said, "Teach me. I showed you I can cold call you, and I showed you I could get to your secretary. I'll pay for all the marketing, and I'll even give you 50% of all the profit. I'm game." Like, that's exactly what I want. And people have done that to me now, and I'm like, oh shit, that's a winner, right? So it's simple things like that. Like, people think it needs to be a giant thing. It doesn't need to be a giant thing. Wherever it is that that person is that you perceive that they're wherever you want to be at, find out what they like, find out what they need. It's usually not money, and then go deliver it to them. And be relentless and persistent. I'll tell you this much. If that guy wouldn't have answered the call, guess what my next move would have been? I would have shown up to his office, and I would have sat outside day in, day out. If he didn't answer me then, I would have pitched the fucking tent in the parking lot, and I would have gotten his ass. I would have found out what gym he was at. I would have figured out a way to get in that room. But I was that committed. I'm still that committed. Like the lender on this deal that you were talking about with the townhomes, dude, that guy, I started following him 8 years ago. He's now my mentor. I hit him up 8 years planting seeds. So when I called him for a $250,000 bridge, boom, 7 a.m. Done. It was over because he knew I could deliver. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I think it's phenomenal advice, man. I really try to embody this stuff. And one of the things that you actually share with me, because we met before, I don't know if you remember, in Miami in 23. Yeah.
You were tall as hell, I remember.
Yeah, you told me.
You were living in Brazil, right?
Yeah, I was in Brazil. I'm still, chilling in South America. I'm still doing the business virtually. And one of the reasons that I'm still doing this is because of one of the things that you told me at that meetup. And I remembered it, and I actually put it into practice. He said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Keep doing what you're doing. Right. Whatever you're doing that has got you to where you're at right now, just do more of it, right? And, I had been out Latin America, keeping my cost of living, relatively low and that sort of thing, and just doing my own thing. No distractions, no nonsense, and I just kept doing it. And so I just appreciate you, man, for, of course, meeting you and coming on to join and share with us. Guys, I want you to recognize the fact that this man does have a $10,000 community that is filled with value, that does change people's lives, and he's deciding to be generous enough to come and share these secrets with us, so that we can go and implement them in our business. So we are greatly, greatly appreciative of you, Mr. Numbers.
Listen, man, I each one teach one, right? It's kind of my philosophy. Somebody helped me along the way. You look back and you extend your hand, right, when you get up to that rock. I think one thing that I will always say is some people want to be helped, some people don't, right? That's the hardest thing of life, and being in a position that I'm at now, I've had to learn that the hard way, right? Some people are just, you can bring a horse to the water, but they ain't going to drink it. It just is what it is, right? That's how life is, right? And for anyone here, young, older, whatever, I could tell you from personal experience, I've had to shed a lot of friendships. I've had to shed a lot of different people, different things, different habits over the years, because every level has a new devil, right? And every time you move up, you have to drop some weight in order to get lighter to keep moving up. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Don't make the classic mistake of thinking that you're gonna act the same way, think the same way, surround yourself with the same people, and all of a sudden get different results. It's not how it works, right? Birds of a feather flock together. That's really cliche, but it's really true. So always continue to look at, hey, am I a master of my craft yet? Well, if the answer is no, then what am I doing to learn more? What am I doing? Who am I surrounding myself with? Am I talking to my other friend who's broke too? Or am I trying to level up and get around a person that I perceive as where I want to be? You know, am I talking about what I don't have? Or am I talking about as if I do already have it? These are all mentality things, right? That's a big difference. That's a manifestation thing, right? That's a mindset thing. And again, business is just a kaleidoscope or a reflection of what your internal thoughts are. Okay. So if you don't have your shit together, don't be surprised when your business is not, together. So yeah, I mean, I'd love to take any Q&As if you have them. I
Yeah,
can't see the question. I
I'd
can't see
love to
them on my
open it
screen.
up. Ladies and gentlemen, drop your questions in the chat. We're going to open it up now. Let people
And
get
by
some
the way,
questions answered.
let me just say this. I think you've done a phenomenal job with this community. I mean, you got like 19,000 people, so good for you, man. And this dude does the same thing. He gives and gives and gives and gives and gives. And I mean, he's here at his own volition, his own time. He doesn't charge anything for it. So, I think that's really admirable too, bro, for sure. So keep it going.
I appreciate that, man. We do all this because we just wanted to create an environment where people can get around other people that are actively doing this business. And it's really incredible just to see like the types of conversations that go down in a voice. Like you can meet people, talk about a deal, and make money within the same week just by being active in this community. And so we're really grateful for you to come and be a part of it and share. Literally over 80 people are coming to join us right now live. We're very grateful. So we'd love to open it up, if anybody's got some questions.
Let's go, guys. Fire away. It could be business, mindset, whatever, reverse flip. I don't care. Whatever it is. Just don't ask me my favorite color or something, please. Let's keep it high level. Let's keep it high level.
Liam asks,
I
what
can
is the perfect seller for you?
I mean, a seller that's willing to part ways with his problem or her problem, and that's not being difficult.
Okay. They say, you said distressed reverse mortgages, but are there any other sellers that this method suits?
I mean, tons of sellers. Tons of sellers. Again, reverse mortgage was just on the short sale side, but sellers, heirs, multiple heirs that don't like each other on a property with no debt. That is an amazing, amazing lead opportunity. And that's a partition, right? If you buy 50%, let's say there's two heirs, right, to a property. And let's just say for the sake of argument, it's worth 200 grand, all right, as is. Okay. Two heirs, that means 100K a piece, right? They don't like each other. You have conversation with heir number one, you could buy his interest for 20 grand. Well, congratulations. You own 50% of 200 grand for 20 grand. So you already made 80 grand, right? And then you sue for a partition on the other heir. Hopefully you can settle with them, make more than 80 grand. If not, worst case scenario, you're going to make 80 grand. That's a great example.
Before we take another question, I want to see in the chat, does everybody understand, is everybody grasping this concept? Can we get some ones in the chat if everybody feels like they have a very clear idea of what exactly reverse flipping is and what this process looks like? Because this was something that definitely was difficult for me to understand, and I wanted to bring some clarity to this. There are a lot of people that do understand, and that's huge. So that's very, very helpful to see. Kyle's got a great question. Yeah. How do you structure an offer for a deed purchase? I know it depends on what's going on, but is there a formula that you see? If so, can we see an example with some numbers?
No, there's no formula, man. It's basically just cheaper. It's very, very simple. So again, this isn't like a mail where it's like, hey, 80% of ARV minus repair, minus wholesale fee. No, that's not what this is about. This is more, hey, I can get rid of your problem. And this is where you come in, right? Whatever negotiating, you're going to get better at negotiating, guys, over time, by the way. You might buy your first deed for 10 grand and you're like, damn, I probably could have gotten that for 3, right? And it might not seem like a big difference, but it is a big difference, right? So you just structure it as best you can. Hey, look, this property has a lot of issues. And like you said, no one's been able to help you. I'm willing to take it off your hands for $5,000, $1,000 up front, $4,000 on the back end. And guess what? After today, it'll be my issue, and I'm going to deal with all the problems. That's really it. There's not really much negotiating. You'll be shocked. These sellers are usually just, hey, you take it. Take it away. I don't want this, right? Or more so even, I didn't even think you could buy this. Nobody bought this from me. Like everybody told me they couldn't do it. Well, yeah, we can do it, of course.
Ernesto wants to know if this strategy is a capital heavy strategy. You have to put a lot of money out, pick up all these deeds.
Not at all. No, again, that's where you come in. $1,000, $500, $2,000 on the front end, right? Again, guys, you're already using this money if you're doing marketing, right? Like you're spending this money whether you like it or not, right? And free is one of the most expensive things in the world, okay? Because free usually means that you're paying it somewhere else, right? So, and if you're in our community and you JV with us, and it's a good deal, I'll put up the money. It's not a problem. We've done that forever. Money, and I will say one other thing for everybody on this call. If anybody, just drop it in the chat. Who thinks money is their problem right now? Just type in money if you think money is your problem. I'm going to blow your fucking mind here. Just let me know, whatever. Where is the chat? I feel like I can't.
We got the side chat. You should see a bubble there in the top right corner.
Oh, shit. Look at that. Damn. See that? I'm great with real estate. Not so good with tech, but now I am. Money, 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 money. Yeah, there's a bunch of money. All right. Yeah. Have you done this with land? Absolutely. Yeah. We just talked about a land deal. Yeah. Look, so let me tell you something. Money is never your problem. And you know what's crazy is I never use my own money on deals. I don't think I've used my own money on deals in years, right? There's never a lack. The problem is never a lack of resources. It's a lack of resourcefulness. Okay. So that's what it is. That's what it is. And that's a mindset thing. And again, I'm not trying to get all hokey pokey, dude. Do you know how much money there is in the world? Did you know that Google makes $1 billion a day? YouTube makes $500 million a fucking day, 365, 24/7. And we're here talking about $3,000 for a deed. I'm telling you, if money's your issue, go and get with a person in this community and say, hey, do you have $3,000? Yeah, I got $3,000. I'm going to split this deal with you 50-50. Problem solved. So money was not the issue, right? It's your lack of resourcefulness for that problem. Just advance to level 6. Boom. I don't know what that means, but I like it. That wisdom and understanding is worth more than silver and gold. All right. That's good.
Mercedes said, mine is getting the sellers the contract.
Well, it's a good thing you don't have to get contracts anymore, Mercedes. Grab that net and catch that beautiful butterfly because we get deeds now, baby. That's all you got to get now. How can you tell if the deceased left a will or not? Ask the question when you're speaking to the heirs. That's one of the best probing questions that you can ask. Was there a will? If you don't know how to check the court records, get really good at checking the court records. You guys need to be able to read a docket. A docket is the chronological sequence of events inside the court. That's one of the things that I became great at back in 2018. I mean, amazing. I could tell you more about people's lives than anything. So I know how to structure the deal. Wait, so what does that mean? It's, again, you're talking to the wrong sellers is what that means, Mercedes. That's all that means. You're talking to the wrong sellers, or you're framing it probably, just not in the best way, which is cool, right? We're learning. And that's what you got to do. You got to talk to more sellers. And again, you have to present more offers to get more accepted. My county, what county are you in? My county doesn't allow probate records in person, only online, and then it's still a hassle. What county is that? Polk County. Not true, sir. I love Polk County search records. I was hoping you were in Florida. Yeah, dude, I smoke Polk County, dude. We smoked a deal in Polk County the other day. It's all there. You just got to sign up for a free account. That's all it is. See? Let's go. Look at this emoji. That's funny. Can I just keep reading them, brother?
Yeah, please. I love it, dude. You're interacting. You're seeing how the Discord works.
I don't want to steal your thunder.
No, man, this is all you, brother.
All right, I appreciate it, man. Leave me to my devices. I'll be here for 3 hours. So in terms of a property going to auction, when do you get the deed? Does it stop it no, it does not. That's a great question. It depends on the situation, right? We might be able to file an emergency stay with our attorney, or we might actually need to have the seller file for bankruptcy if the deal is good enough, right? That's really what that means. If there's enough time, probably 30 days till auction. If it's a good deal, man, it's got equity, you probably could rip that and not need the time.
The deed in New Jersey.
Oh, the deed in New Jersey could be what?
The deal.
The deal in New Jersey. Yeah, I mean, look, we have a bunch of guys from New Jersey. We actually just did a deal there, or deal there 2 days ago, I think. But the thing with Jersey is you don't want to put them into a land trust. Is all I'm saying. That's the buying entity. But a quitclaim deed works in Jersey, no problem. It's the same thing, man. It's guys. This is a simple. Like the principle is going to be the same. I don't give a shit if you were in Alaska, New Jersey, Florida, Texas, Puerto Rico. Actually works the same way. You are getting a deed. You're getting a power of attorney. We're showing you how to do it in the community. We have hundreds of hours of calls and live calls and all this stuff, what we're doing right now, right? Juan is in there as well. He does a phenomenal job of teaching it. And you're just having a conversation, man. Just if you're already, here's the good news. If you're already getting contracts as a wholesaler, remove the contract, insert a deed, and that's now what you're getting. It's just another document you're getting signed. That's really it.
Real quick, I want to give Mr. Juan Nicasio, Mr. ACQ, his flowers, man. He has been an incredible addition to this community. I'm sure he's done so much for reverse flipping. He is an absolute.
You have no idea.
Yeah. He's an amazing guy, man. So I got to give him his flowers. He put us in touch. Yeah, absolutely amazing guy. Got to follow him on Instagram too if you haven't. We got to get links for everybody to go follow and make sure that you keep up with these guys. These guys are killers.
I appreciate it, bro.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Look, we're great guys. We pride ourselves on teaching people. We love to collaborate. We just don't fuck around. We get shit done, right? Like I hate excuses. I hate complaining. I can't stand that shit. I'm allergic to it. I'm like, don't tell me the reason why it can't work. Tell me how we can make it work, right? That's me. That's just me. So in chronological order, what is the steps of the process? I know the deed from a distress, then a POA, then the third party. But after that, how do I go selling it? Well, again, you'd want to work with somebody in our community more than likely, right? To get the referral to the loss mitigation space if you need it for a short sale. If not, it depends on the deal. I mean, the best way is to be in the community, right? Because then you can keep up with this kind of stuff. But yeah, it's very dynamic, right? Every situation might be a little bit different. What price range do you target? Cheap, non-rural, and cheap. I don't care. Guys, I just bought a vacant land that is in Delray Beach, right off of Atlantic Ave. The land alone is worth $2.5 million because it's zoned for 7 townhomes. The project's going to be worth 15 because I'm developing it with my partner. I bought it for zero. So don't tell me it's too high, it's too low. No, you're buying the problem. The real estate just comes attached to the problem. That's what I always like to say. What was the issue? The guy was going to sale, pre-foreclosure, his time ran out. He didn't have the money to finish it. Now, how the hell did the seller agree to that? I laugh out loud. Like I said, it was a pre-foreclosure, going to auction. He ran out of time and he ran out of money. His options were get zero or sign over everything to me. Zero. I knew the lender. I figured it out with the lender. And he's going to listen, don't feel sorry for the seller. The seller's going to make $1 million on the back end when we sell all this stuff in 20 months, okay? Literally, the seller's he's making 1.1 million. When the seller walked out of our office, that was a picture I posted the other day of a guy with his peace signs up. That's how happy that seller was. And he told me, he goes, I'm going to sleep good tonight. And I was like, well, brother, and I'm not. So good for you. I was like, and I just took over your problem. No, but I'm good. We're all good. He could have gotten zero or wait, and he gets money. That's genius. Yes, sir. Yeah, again, guys and girls, solve problems. I think the real estate business has gone too far into what's the ARV? Well, what's the MSA? Well, what's my price range? Well, is it FHA? Well, blah, blah, blah. That's too number specific. If you're talking about price more than 3 times, you got a fucking problem. That is not your seller. Talk about their problem. Don't worry about the deal. If you get a problem for cheap enough, any deal is going to make sense. Trust me. How can I join your community? I mean, can you drop his link in there? Okay, cool. What's your preferred deal structure? Reverse flips. That's the one. Cheap deeds up front. Boom, bam. Atlantic Ave and Delray has been booming for years now. Yes, sir. That's insane. Congrats. Thank you, sir. How do you go about negotiating with the reverse mortgage lenders? Again, every case is different, but my loss mitigation team handles that. So we can refer you to them. Let me make sure I didn't. Does this work with good cash flowing? Absolutely. I've kept tons of rentals this way. What's your preferred? Yep, you already asked that. Does this work in all 50 or 52 states the same way? Just buy the deed and limited? Yep, yes, sir. I've come across some deals where there's a guy moving out of the county and to get his property for low cash and get like 100K equity. They're turnkey, but don't really cash flow. I have one interested. Amazing. How much money should I stack up prior to getting into this business? Zero. Zero. My man brings up another good point, and you're going to fire me up here. I started in this business with negative $30,000. I was fired. My mom was going through a divorce. She was being evicted, and I started cold calling and putting out bandit signs. Don't fucking tell me money's the problem. I just said money's not the problem. You are the problem. You believe that shit. And I'm trying to give you some inspiration here and motivation for that. Don't stack up money. Don't be the get my ducks in a row kind of guy. While you're busy getting your ducks in a row, I'm claiming all the ducks because I'm just running through walls, right? That's how business is. You'll never, listen, it'll never be the right time. I got engaged in December and I was like, oh, I don't know if it's the fucking course it's the right time. If you love the girl, get engaged. Move your ass. That's what it is. Done. You figure it out later. All for it. Imperfect action. Thank you, sir. She's a very lucky girl. I'll tell you right now. Head over heels in this shit. You're right. That's right, Tone. Damn right, bro. If you had to start from scratch today with under $2,000, knowing everything you know now, what's the most effective strategy? You the reverse flip, dude. That's a silly question. No question. I would have just bought deeds, man. Dude, if I could start today, like, if we could really turn back the hands of time and I could drop younger Willy into 2017, brother, give me no clothes, no money, I'd be a fucking multi-millionaire inside of 12 months. No question. If I could keep my knowledge and my experience. No question. I love it. He stands on business. That's right. Is the loss mitigation team available for the community members? Yes, they are on referral. Yes. Younger Willy, laughing my ass off. Yeah, I mean, I'm 34, but I was 25 back then. You know, seems like a lifetime ago.
I'm about to be 25, man, so this is crazy to hear, you know.
There you go, baby. Ooh, 25. Oh, so crazy. I'm coaching a couple guys right now. They're 23. They're doing $3 million a year in Miami. And these kids are they're crushing it. And now they're starting to implement these types of strategies. They're going to the stratosphere, dude. They're going to the stratosphere. But they want to invest in themselves. You know, they paid for high-level coaching, right? They always pay for mentors. That's what it is. Does it work with commercial product? Yes, it does. Just told you about the vacant land zone for commercial. Absolutely.
Oh, what's going on? I'm gonna hijack this real quick. This is Rogue Steve speaking. I'm gonna interrupt the flow of consciousness in the side chat here.
Okay.
I got a lot of people I can see in here asking questions about structure and different little things, and what I got a feeling here that there might be some people who don't get the base concept of a reverse flip. And I just want to hit it up. This might be even a bit more of a philosophical question. I don't know. My question to you is, and for the people in here who maybe are a little too shy to ask, what is a reverse flip? What is the part of the deal that makes it the reverse flip? Is it buying the deed? Is it something that happens after the fact? What's the philosophy? Why do we do this? Why do we like this?
Oh, such a good question. It's the whole strategy. So a reverse flip is, I'm not the first guy to buy a deed, by the way. I was not the guy that invented that. I invented really and strategized the process of it. You get the deed, the POA, and the TPA if you need it for a short sale. And you control the process day one. You fix the problems on the back end. Then you choose your exit. That is a reverse flip.
Good shit. Much appreciated.
Yes, sir. Like I was talking to AI there for a second. I was like, I don't know who this is, but it sounds great.
I'm your conscience.
Yeah, I was like, whoa. I was like, hello, Jesus. I don't know what that is, but hey, I'll talk to you. No problem. You do a quick recap of the process. I mean, what I just said, yeah. I mean, you go out, get the deed, the POA, and a TPA, a third-party authorization, if it needs a short sale. Then you control the property. Then you fix all the problems on the back end, or you JV with us, and we help you do that. And then you choose your exit. Let's go. You do a deed, POA, and TPA, right? Yep. Yes, Vincent.
Real quick.
Yes, sir.
Before we hop into some more questions, because I know we got a lot of people typing, a lot of people asking questions. We want to encourage you to continue to ask questions. I've got another question for you real quick, Willy. So yep. I want you to break down what exactly the loss mitigation team does. You know, what is it that they do? How is it that they're getting on the phone and negotiating with these lenders, mortgage companies, banks? What is it that the loss mitigation team does?
Yeah, so they are highly efficient and proficient at just negotiating with banks, right? They've been doing it for 20 plus years. Kind of like anything, right? You become really good at something. They have all the contacts. They know all the people. I mean, imagine doing this for 20 years, right? That's all you know. They used to write the Fannie Mae HUD guidelines, so they understand how the regulations work. They understand what bank, what servicer is going to take what kind of percentage, what kind of this, what kind of that. Hey, this is what's going to happen on this type of transaction. This is what happens on those types of transactions. Hey, it's a reverse mortgage, so this falls under, this kind of servicer, etc. So it's really just a combination of all that stuff. And of course, they're great at follow up, right? I mean, banks are idiots. These loss mitigation departments they just don't know where these loans are half the time. Right? They just don't know. Fannie Mae is ran like a DMV. They have no idea what the hell's going on. We had one the other day, yesterday actually, 2008 loan that was converted into a HELOC. Get this, I swear to God, this is a true story. Wells Fargo was foreclosing on a loan. There was a HELOC from Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo didn't know that Wells Fargo owed Wells Fargo money on the HELOC. Can't make this shit up. I mean, this is a true story. Turns out it was the same loan. It was the same loan that they foreclosed on. So it looked like 600,000, but it was really 300,000. So lucky me. We made 150 G's on that one.
Okay.
It was in Perrine, Florida, Miami-Dade County. Why do you need to buy the deed? Well, if you want to get a contract, I mean, go ahead, but you have no control. You buy the deed for control. That's why. You want the control. You ever get stuck with properties you can't move? Then what do you do if it's costing you money monthly? We're not making the payments while they're in foreclosure, right? Because we're doing the loss mitigation. If it's a sub 2, of course, we're going to start making the payments. But no, this does not cost us monthly. The seller was already in that situation. We've done nothing to alter their situation worse than what they were already at. Does it work with bank? Nope. REOs are already bank owned. REOs are shit. No, sir.
Real quick. We got another question. Oh, go ahead, Kyle.
Hey, how you doing, Willie?
How you doing, sir?
Appreciate all the wealth and knowledge, man. I'm taking notes. Already purchased that book, man. Gonna read it tonight. But my question is, can you paint a picture for how the conversation looks with the seller? Like, do you start off going with this route, or do you pitch something first, like a cash offer, and then pivot, or how does that conversation look?
No, so typically, it's a good question, man. Typically, this seller is going to tell you that, the problems of the property, or you're already going to see them. They're going to tell you, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, no one can buy this. People have tried before, but the bank said this, I don't own it anymore. Oh, that was my mother's property, but I don't even know. I got a letter from the bank. I'm not going to be able to pay it back because the house is worth less than what it is, right? There's so many stuff. There's squatters in it. So it's basically, you're just listening for cues, and you're just trying to structure and say, well, look, what if I told you that I would just take it off your hands? What would that look like for you, right? That's probably a good way to start. You're not just going to go right into the conversation and be like, look, I'll give you $3,000 for this piece of shit. That's probably not the best way to do it. Although there are some sellers that would appreciate the honesty, but you're gonna want to have some structure to it. But that's something that Juan really teaches super well inside of our community, and I had a feeling he would hop on. So
here he is.
Get it.
You chime and I appear.
It's like a fucking genie. It's incredible.
Okay, so for
That
one in particular, say for instance that when you were talking about, was it a commercial property, I believe?
Yeah, it was vacant land zone for 7 townhomes. Yes, sir.
Okay, so for that particular one, it was going under foreclosure. I'm assuming people made offers, they couldn't make it work, and that's where you slid in.
Actually, there was nobody else there. That's
Really?
crazy. Yeah, there was nobody else there because, again, nobody cared to market to the seller, and the seller came to our office and he's like, well, what does this look like?
Awesome.
The debt is 2.1, and I'm like, well, this looks like very simple, sir. You got 10 days till foreclosure. The auction is coming up on Monday. I know the lender. I can reach out to the lender. I know I can restructure this debt, and I'm willing to take a risk on it. I know what we can build. What you were trying to build was a Taj Mahal, and it doesn't make sense financially to build. So we got to bring construction costs down, which is what my partner Mike did a great job at. And we said, it's very simple. you're going to transfer over the deed to us. You're going to give us a power of attorney. We're going to negotiate with the bank, and we're going to tie you in on the back end. You're going to make $1 million in our project. You want to do it or you want to do it? That was it. Well,
Thank you
and he
very
wanted $300K up front, by the way. We said
Oh, did he?
absolutely not. You know, 0 is the number. That's it.
That's awesome, man. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah.
Great question.
So I'm here. I hope everybody can hear me. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. If you followed me for any given time, this is about solving problems. This is about keeping it really super simple. I think there's a couple things because I heard the whole call as I was driving down to my home office. Don't overcomplicate this. You do the strategy, you do your calls exactly the way you've done every other call. You're calling to figure out what is the problem. How can we be of service? Can I be of service? Figure out what it is that's going on. Once you determine and you can figure out and you can digest what's really going on behind the scene, not, oh, I want 100K. That's fucking great. I want a GT3 RS 2025. But, you know, it may not happen today. What really is going on? Oh, well, I want 100K because I owe 97,000 and I need 3K so that I can go get my rental. Oh, okay, I see. So you have a debt, in this case, this scenario, of 97,000. Meaning that if you market this property on the MLS, it's only worth 100K. By the time you pay agent commission, closing costs, boom, 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 you're at negative. So that means you have to bring money to the table. Bam, reverse flip. I'll give you the $3,000. I'll take the problem from you. Goodbye. Here's a 3K. Go start your life over again, as an example, right? But you got to figure out. You use the same strategy. There is no. You're not veering off from what you normally do. You're not specifically targeting some sort of lead. Yes, are there targets? There are targets, but you don't have to because it's already in your CRM. They're naturally coming through regardless. What happens is that we're so trained to do this process or this industry one singular way. Cash offer, novation, novation. Cash offer. Oh, sub two, cash flow, make $300. Hey, yippee. That's not what we're solving for, right? So we have to go through the same exact process, figure out exactly what it is that we're doing, what we're solving for, and then we figure it out on the back end. Meaning, hey, what is a reverse flip? Reverse flip is exactly that. We purchase the property now, and then we choose how we exit on the back end versus what we pitch now as wholesalers. Oh yeah, we're going to give you an offer as is, how is, where is. Right? Contingent on passing an inspection, right? Give me 15 days and then I'll figure it out. That is not buying properties as is. Reverse flip is buying properties as is. I'm going to buy it from you today. We're transferring ownership today. You're going to get cash right now. I don't care about the lien search. I don't care about the title work. I don't care about none of that. Your issue is that you need $2,000. Here's the $2,000. I'll take over the deed. I'll take care of the headache and I'll figure out on the back end because I own it how I'm going to dispose of this property. So hopefully that gives you a little bit more context as to what the hell is reverse flip. Why do we call it reverse flip? Because we're doing the opposite of what the traditional real estate industry does, which is title, lien search. Let's make sure everything is clear. Let's make sure everything is clean. And then we can figure out our exit. No, we're taking on a risk right now. We'll take over the problem. And then on the back end, we'll figure it out. Reverse. So hopefully that cleared it up for everyone.
Couldn't have said it better myself. But that's why he's here.
Pleasure to see you as
My
always,
guy,
Juan.
guys. My boy.
Yes,
My
sir.
boy right there. ACQ, give Mr. ACQ some fire in the fucking chat. Are you kidding me?
Drop some fire,
Kevin
ladies
Hart.
and gentlemen.
Get some fucking fire on the bitches right there. That's right.
Mr. Numbers, Hafa has a question for you. What's the biggest mistake you've made when starting your business, and what would you do differently today?
Ooh. Man, that's a fucking great one. Don't ever fucking think small, man. Be you, hit the fucking ground hard. Don't ever let anybody tell you shit. Do it right and keep it moving. Think fucking big. Just because your bank account doesn't reflect on where you're at doesn't mean shit. Doesn't mean shit. I've seen guys become multi-millionaires in under 2 fucking years. I've seen guys do it in a year. Shit. I became a millionaire, lost $1 million inside of 12 months, lost millionaire status, and became a multi-millionaire again in under 18 months. It's all possible, bro. But you only lose one way in this game. One way to lose. Actually, there's 2 ways to lose. You can die, which dying is bad, so let's not do that. 2, you fucking quit and you give up. That's the only way to take yourself out of the game. If you stay with this game for long enough, by default, you're going to win. No question. There's no question. Yeah, dying is bad. It is bad. Dying is not good. No, it sucks. I don't know. I haven't done it yet, but maybe it's awesome. I don't know, but I don't want to do it. Not anytime soon. So I'm good. Yeah. Just don't quit, man. That's the moral of the story. Most people say it, Again, I know it's just a question, but I take it very seriously. Juan knows, the situation, and he knows how I am, right? He knows I drive one fucking speed, bro. One speed all day, every single day. Even when especially when life sucks, right? And life never sucks, guys. There's only moments that suck. Like, if you think your life sucks, you need to reevaluate yourself, right? Like, when people tell me, dude, I'm having a bad day, I'm like, dude, you fucking suck, dude. Like, really? A whole day was bad? No shot. Maybe 2 hours were bad. But the rest of the day, there's still 22 hours left in the motherfucker. Right? What are you going to do about it? It's about what you do with it, not about what happens to you, right? And it happens for you, not to you. There's a big difference, man. This is all mindset stuff, but I've learned a lot of this shit because of getting kicked in the nuts enough. Like, eventually you just start wearing a cup. You start getting used to the pain, right? I do see a lot of guys, though, and girls too. They just don't want it bad enough, right? They want the Ferrari, they want the car or whatever. Oh, I want to buy my mom a house, or I want to have all this money. I want to be financially free. Well, what does that mean, bro? Because if you think it's $1 million, you're fucked. Financially free is not $1 million. $1 million goes like this, right? You want true freedom? That's a whole different conversation, right? Start asking yourself different questions. Why do I want this? And by the way, what am I willing to give up for this? That's a big one. Because you ain't going to be able to have your cake and eat it too. Not for a long time. That's a fact. So get used to it. It happens. Sacrifice shit. Be disciplined at it. Juan's been at this game for 10, 11 years. I've been at this game for 8.5 fucking years. Right? And while there's guys that have been at this game for a lot longer, that's a long time. That's almost 2 decades combined, him and I. Long time, dude. Long time. But we've eaten a lot of shit to get here, too. Right? And we've also had a lot of great moments. Again, what are you going to do with it and expect for things to go wrong? How fast do you pivot? I got caught with my pants down during COVID, as a lot of people did. But guess what? From 2020, beginning of 2020, I was a multi-millionaire right at the middle of 2021. I started 2021 being a thousandaire, 2020 being a thousandaire. I was a multi-millionaire in 2021. I was on the right side of it, and I wasn't a pussy. I doubled down on marketing, and I ran where others were running the opposite direction. I ran in the opposite direction, dude. That's true shit. Just beat a $500K lawsuit. They finally dismissed yesterday. I love it, Tone. I'm in $1 million lawsuit right now, Tone. So I feel you, dog. It's all good. Shit happens. And by the way, when you get more money, God, it's like the dipshit convention comes to town and they all want to take your shit. And so that's just the moral of the story. I think big timers had it right. You know, got everything in my mama, and they really had it right, dude. They had it right, because I don't want anybody thinking I have shit. That's the reality. Let's say I have a perfect deal for reverse flip. What do I do if I don't have the capital to pay for all the issues on the back end, liens, violations, etc., closing costs? How do I navigate that? Well, you would have already sold that to somebody, so there you could tie all that into the sale. I never pay all the stuff on the back end. Shit, I never pay all the stuff on the front end. You know, that's how we teach you how to structure it. All right? That's just framing. It's just literally like, you guys understand it, a HUD, right? A closing statement. It's one side for debit, one side for credits. Just move the numbers to the other side. That's all you got to do. How bad do you want it? As bad? Yep, that's right. That's Eric Thomas. I met him a very long time ago. He was a great man. Damn, here I was crying because people sued my car insurance. That's funny. Oh, it's a baby problem. Is it always a deal if the seller is willing to give you the deed for free? What makes a deal really dead to you? If I can't make, a certain amount of money, but I will tell you, I mean, again, that's a vague question, with all due respect. It's usually always good if you could get a deed for free to start. Now, I can't tell you how the end is going to go because I don't have all the, factors to the deal, but that's always a really good start. No cap. That's funny. I guess that's what the kids say. No bullshit, right?
No cap. I wanna break that down a little bit for the deals, right? So, yes, you are taking ownership of this property. One of the benefits to doing this, right, that I was listening to was the tax benefits. There are benefits for depreciation and all sorts of other things that you can write off, if you are owning all of these different properties. So I want to really dive into that and explain to the community how this can offset, so much of that active income that we're generating constantly, right? So let's dive into that and talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, like I myself right now, I own about, I would say $50 million worth of real estate, give or take. When you add in this development deal too, right? I was like at 40 before that. So again, everybody's tax situation is different. So I just want to say, for the record, my disclaimer, I'm not giving tax advice. I'm not a financial advisor. There you go. You can't sue me now. What I will say is everybody's tax situation is different. If you keep the deed, let's say, or the property, the way that real estate works is it's short-term gains if it's under 12 months. If you own it for over a year, that's considered a long-term gain, so you're taxed at a different bracket. But when you start to own real estate, you can depreciate real estate, and that's why so many wealthy people put their money in real estate. There's different types of real estate, but you can start to depreciate the real estate against your income. So I'm never paying taxes legally, ever. I haven't paid taxes in fucking 3 years because I own so much real estate and I have so much debt on that real estate that it's depreciation. So in the reverse flip context, we have a guy, again, this is a dude that's been wholesaling for 3 years. His name's Rudy. He just bought a deed for $1,000. The property's free and clear. As is, it's worth $200,000. We're going to partner. We're going to build a single family there for Section 8 rental, and we're going to keep it. Right? And he's going to have his tax depreciation there. So, again, about every $1 million or so, give or take, of real estate that you own is anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000 a year on the minimum without doing anything creative off of your tax depreciation. So, again, start doing the math, right? If you own $10 million worth of real estate, which, by the way, guys, is not a lot of fucking money. That's not equity. That's just $10 million worth of real estate. You have to have a taxable bill to the IRS of $400,000 or more, which means you made at least $3 million that year in personal income for you to even pay a dime in taxes. And I hope that kind of answered what you were asking.
It definitely did. I'm just trying to take all this in, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a lot of information.
I know, dude. I have that effect on people.
Bro, you are killing it. You are killing it. You guys got to watch the replay on this one for sure. I know.
Not your average guru, bro.
No, not at all, man.
Not at all. Surface level. No, man. I hate that shit. I can't stand that shit, dude. I can't stand it because they just regurgitated the same crap. And you know, again, I don't judge anybody. Good for them, but dude, just give it to the people, bro. Like
That's
just
right.
really do the deals. You know, like actually do the fucking business, right? Like any monkey can. Oh, I took a contract, I sold it, 20 grand. Like, dude, I've done that forever, right? And I'm one of those monkeys for a long time. But then you got to elevate. You got to start to see different deals. Like if I see a same guru doing something, for example, for the last 10 years, and he's still flipping the same kind of properties, making the same kind of money, I'm like, dude, what happened? What happened? Like there's so many more levels to this shit, right? And I feel like people need to know this stuff. People need to know this stuff, but they're too lazy to learn it, you know, in that community because it's hard. It's hard. I get it.
It's hard, and there aren't people pushing. They get comfortable. You know what I'm saying? They get familiar.
You said the C word. That's not
That's
true.
right. That's right.
C word.
That's
Yeah.
right.
The worst word is comfort.
Well, let me ask you
Everything.
this. You brought it up, Willie.
Yeah.
You said there are levels to it. What's the next level for you?
Oh man, it's a great question. Raise $100 million fund so I never have to sell a piece of real estate again. That's it. You know, continue to grow the reverse flip community and solidify, which I already think we've done a great job at it, but solidify this as a legitimate, bona fide, full-on strategy, which is crazy to me to think of. Like Juan's been, I can't say enough good things about this guy. Juan's been a phenomenal, like, reason, one of the biggest reasons that this has gone to where it's gone to, and I appreciate him every day for it. Like, people already talk about like, oh, you could do a wholesale, you could do a novation, or you could do a reverse flip. Like for me, dude, that's an honor. You know, that's awesome to hear that it's being held in that kind of regard. Yeah, raising $100 million fund and $1 billion in assets in the next 5 years. That's my goal personally, and yeah, that's the next level for me.
All right, the next question I have for you is this.
Yeah.
Why?
Why am I doing that? Yeah, honestly, man, two answers. Because I never want to be broke again, and because I can't help the amount of people that I want to help if I'm not thinking that big. Like I'm the type of guy that God, call it whatever you want, but for me it's God. God gave me the ability to build such a big vision that most other people's visions fit inside of my vision. That's why. It's because I can. Honestly.
Give it up, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Willy Numbers.
Young boy never broke again. That's right, boy. I never want to be broke again, dude. I'm a first generation American, dude. My mom grew up fucking riding a horse in Cuba to school, dude. It's an honor to be here, dude. It's fucking great to be here. Are you kidding me? Could be in fucking Cuba, sucking a fatty somewhere, like with communism. But we're not. We're here. This is a great fucking country, dude. This is what we could do. Like, this is dude, a kid. I mean, they come to Juan and I all the time. A 19-year-old kid could come out and bang out 100K on a deal. Are you kidding me? That kid's mind is forever warped. You know, like most people don't make 100K a year. There's a dude in our community, Josh. He's ripping 200K on a duplex in Miami. 200K net profit.
This guy doesn't even work. He works 5 hours a week.
He goes to like a beach on a Saturday. Like literally, he came into our office and he's like, yeah, I'm at the beach on Saturday. I'm like, you gotta be shitting me. But, you know, like, dude, are you joking me? Like, people really, and I'll tell you from my personal experience, people really don't realize how close it really is and how close you are from one conversation, one deal, one handshake, one door to changing your life forever. People, you know, it's easy to do that because you look at Everest and you fucking stand on the bottom of the mountain. You're like, this is going to suck. Like, how the hell am I even going to do this? But if you look at the first 100 yards in front of you, boom, next 100 yards, boom, next 100, boom. Before you know it, you're like, dude, I'm halfway up this fucking mountain. This is crazy, right? So it's easier to digest it that way. But people get lost in the sauce and, you know, paralysis by analysis and all that kind of stuff, dude. Look, at some point, ladies and gentlemen, the rubber's gonna have to meet the road. You could buy my book, you could come to his Discord, you could buy Juan's course, you could buy Tony Robbins, right? You could roo rah rah at every fucking Tony Robbins event you want. You can only theorize so much before you actually get on the phone and I don't know if you guys know this, but this little thing this little black thing, the magical device, and it reaches other people that have problems that you can solve, and then money comes in the other way. But if you don't fucking use it, other to be on Instagram, you're not gonna make shit. Okay, this is a tool or it's a distraction. That's what it is. But a lot of guys don't want to do that. A lot of girls don't want to do that. They're like, oh yeah, man, I just kind of want to like figure it out. I don't really know enough yet. I'm like, who knows anything going into anything for the first time? Nobody. I need help getting started. I want it so badly, just don't help. Listen, this is the rapid fire part of the night where Willy's gonna get raw. I need help getting started and I want it badly, just don't know where to begin. That shows me you don't want it bad enough. I didn't know where to begin either. Move your ass. Join us in VCM, blah, 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 massive action. The real question out of all these people in this chat right now who are looking and hollering, blah, 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 how many of you are actually going to take action with this information? Yeah, whoever that is, I think it's great. You know, big words to say, but I think it's great. Opportunities meet preparation, 100%. Wait, I can't say that word. Well, I don't know what that means, but don't say it then. I got that audiobook. Yeah, again, like look, I'll just give you a simple example, right? Just simple shit. There's 85 people here. We've averaged about 80 people from what I've noticed. How many of you guys have gone and bought the ebook? How many of you guys have gone and signed up for the free community? Just how many? And I bet you it's like 10, maybe. Right? But that's society as a whole. That's what it is. Just give it to you straight. Just what it is. Oh, I want it. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And they'll come to another chat, and they'll come to another video, and they'll watch all the YouTube, and they'll know Juan's sales script back and forth, and they'll know all the strategy, but they have yet to pick up the phone and speak to Susie, who's probably going to tell them to go fuck themselves. And then when she does, they're going to quit. They're going to be like, oh, this real estate shit sucks. like that's the world we live in, dude. It's fucking wild, but it's
What's
true.
the crazy? Can I tell you what's the craziest thing about that comment? Like, I don't know where to start together. This fucking dope ass Discord that gives everything for free. Like, everything.
Juan, I can't.
What do you
Wait,
mean?
before you, wait. Juan has told me, man. I remember we were sitting in Brickell at Moxie's, and he's like, John, I don't know how you're doing it, man. I don't know how you're doing it.
I don't get
All of the value that we give away for free on a daily basis, you can literally come in here, ladies and gentlemen, and be in proximity with people that are actively underwriting deals, talking to sellers in the voice chat at any point in the day. We got a special guy in there. His name's Kyle E. Banks. He's literally going live at all hours of the day, showing what he does, listening to him making calls. I was just in there yesterday, locked up 2 properties in Birmingham, Alabama, live for everybody to go watch. Novations. We got to start doing more. I feel like people got to see it. I don't know if you have any videos out of how you talk to people, you know, and like a live negotiation of getting them to go about signing. There's too many.
Too many. There's too many. The fucking school community we have has 200 hours of shit. Calls like this, calls with Juan, hundreds of seller calls. God knows how many wins. I mean, deed after deed after deed after deed after millions of dollars in like literally millions of dollars in general. I mean, bro, I could hop on Instagram, tell people I just made $4 million off of a deal that I bought for $0 fucking dollars, and people are like, yeah, I'm thinking about joining the community. I'm like, get the fuck out of here with that shit, dude. Like, what more is there to think about, dude? It blows my mind, but I am old enough now and I'm seasoned enough now in entrepreneurship to know that most people are full of shit. 1, 2, they're comfortable where they're at. They're comfortable broke, and they like comfort more than they like the fear of the unknown. They're more comfortable at that than the fear of like, oh, I don't know. You already know. You are broke. That's what you know. Nothing could get worse than being broke. I promise you. I promise you. And it ain't just about the money. I'm talking about a broke mindset. Not monetarily. It's the mindset, dude. You could put me anywhere in the you could drop me in Zimbabwe, and I'd own that motherfucker in a few years. I promise you that. I don't know how the fuck I'd figure it out, but I'd fucking figure it out. It doesn't matter. That's my mindset, though. Every day I wake up that way. Every day, that's how I approach my life, dude. At my work day, at my other business ends around 4. I start calling at 5. I'll listen in though. There you go, bro. Call on your lunch. It is what it, or be a real champion. Quit your job. Go all in, dude. The universe will put those opportunities for you, brother. 100%. Zimbabwe's communist. Do it. Yeah, whatever, dude. I'd probably abolish communism there. That's how big my mindset is. Watch Kyle make 3 connections. Yep, that's great. Literally, it takes a few tweaks in most people's mindset. Take over Zimbabwe. Okay, Zimbabwe was a joke. I'm not going to Zimbabwe. But thank you for that. I'm voted the guy for Zimbabwe. All right. Any other questions? I mean, Juan, you got anything specific you wanna touch on? I mean, I know you're here now.
Those that pay attention.
That's right, baby. That's right. That is damn right.
I love this community. I love everything that you guys stand for and everything. You know, our CMO just, you know, messaged us like, hey, the link is out there. John keeps posting it. Very little people are even clicking to see what the hell it is. And that there lies the problem. There is a lot of fire emojis. There is a lot of how I get started. I'm broke. You know, I have a 9 to 5. I have 2 jobs. I do this. I hear a lot of noise. There's a lot. You guys are engaged as shit. Are you engaged in the right place, in the right momentum? What are you guys gonna take away from being here for the last hour and a half with us? We took out an hour and a half so that we can really pour in with our hearts and souls here, guys. And you guys are asking about, you know, how do I get started? How, you know, well, I don't have money, or, you know, how can I JV with you? I work a 9 to 5, and like, it just sounds like a bunch of little excuses, and it just makes us feel like it's not, you know what I mean? Like, it's the action, guys, literally the action, and you guys got to take action. That's really how you get started. That's how you get started. That's how you make this happen. John has provided you guys with more value than he should. We here are providing you gems where you can literally call somebody in trouble right now. There is a seller that is not gonna fucking sleep tonight because you didn't pick up the phone and you didn't solve the problem. Even though you don't know the strategy, you can say, hey, I got a group of people that I think can solve this issue. Would you at least speak to me? And can I help you? That's it. Forget about how and the this and the back end and the front end and the sideway and the fucking all the shit. Forget about that. Have the conversation. Be, like John says, be in proximity. In proximity. Get fucking close enough. I'm pretty sure you're going to land something.
100%, man. Listen, if anybody here follows baseball, I'm not like a huge sports guy, but I do love baseball because it's statistic driven. To make $40 million, like the highest level paid players, okay? They make like $40 million. Aaron Judge, for example, on the Yankees, just an example. You realize that the guy bats like a 357, which means 35% of the time he connects with the ball, makes $40 million a year. That means that he fails 65 fucking % of the time. Yet and still, 40 million bucks. That should be a metaphor to your life. Most of you guys are afraid to walk up to the plate. Actually, let me backtrack. Most of you guys are afraid to even drive to the stadium, let alone get out of the car, grab the bat, and walk up to the plate. Okay? So the reality is, though, just walk up to the plate. What's the worst case scenario? You swing and you miss? Congratulations. At least you're doing more than the 90% of fucking other dipshits that don't do anything. Talk. And Juan said something really important because it's my favorite quote and I use it all the time. Those who pay attention. I don't know about you guys, but whenever you're given something for free, like somebody gives me a free voucher or a free massage, I don't do shit with it. And I actually forget about it. I lose it. But when I pay for something, I'm like, damn, I got to be at that massage at this time. My assistant books it. I'm like, oh, I got to be there because I paid $250 for that massage. When you pay for something, something magical happens. You actually pay attention. You actually have responsibility because you put something on the line. which is why we charge for coaching. It's too much free shit out there, and we sadly know. Look, it would be a great kumbaya world to think, oh, we could just give this away for free and everyone's going to take out. Bullshit. We'd be buying 10,000 deals a month. It's bullshit. There's no way, right? Most people will not take action because they don't value. But when they pay, oh, all of a sudden that's a different individual. Now that individual's showing up. Oh, yeah. Hey, somebody wants to say something. T-Money, he like turned on his speaker, I guess.
Welcome to the stage, T-Money.
T-Money.
We let him
Aging
speak.
Aging twice. All right. T-Money walked up to the plate, did not swing the bat. Next.
We'll bring you back up if you have a question.
Somebody said he's shy. He might be. Maybe he's in a bad reception. What if that guy's like, fuck, and he does a bad dead zone right now? It's just, fuck. The guy's pissed right now. That's our wood. You might get us. Here we go. At 300, you're in the Hall of Fame. There you go. That's even better. Money's back.
My guys, I'm gonna drop off.
Yeah.
And not as a plug, but the seller for 10K, so I gotta drop. So I don't know.
Let's go. Guys, it was an honor to be here. I appreciate you. John, thank you for having us. I really appreciate it. Anything you need, you hit us up by all means. Everybody on this call, by all means, man, do something with your life. Do something with it. Do something with this information. I don't care whether it's mine, whether it's his information. I don't give a shit. My only hope for you is that you do something to change whatever it is that your circumstance is right now. That's all I care about. Have a great night. Appreciate you guys. John, anything you need, man, you let us know, okay?
I appreciate that, Willie. Thank you for coming to join us.
Yes, sir. Anytime. Take care, guys.
Take care. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the #1 most valuable real estate community in existence. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, you've got to invite somebody you think would benefit from being in proximity with us, all right? Send them that link to reirev.com or tell them to come join us on Discord at discord.gg/reirev. Guys, this strategy that Willie has come to share is a game changer. And if it feels good in your gut and you want to learn more about how to start buying deeds and using the reverse flip strategy in your business right now, don't hesitate. Get involved and start taking action. We are going to drop even more information, continue to have even more bigger players come and join us on the podcast. Send me a DM if you have somebody you think needs to come and join us. We want to bring them on. And make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm going to link it in the side chat below. It's youtube.com/REI Revolution. Go. You can catch the replay there. Subscribe to the channel. Drop a like on this video. And if you've made it this far, drop a comment letting us know exactly what your biggest takeaway was from this live stream. Guys, don't miss out on this opportunity. You are here right now. You can get in proximity with people that are actively doing this business at any time by joining us on the Discord voice channel. You've got an amazing person just like Kyle in there constantly making calls all day long. This is the best community to be a part of. Invite somebody you think would benefit from being in proximity with us.